Hello. Welcome to the podcast. Your host is always TheJDzero. And some people won't be able to make it out to to the podcast. Some people will be able to make it out to the podcast. Right now we're kind of waiting for a couple of people in the podcast to actually join the podcast right now. But I'm hoping to not stream too long because I have other stuff to do during this time, and I really want to touch upon some topics before anything goes about. So hopefully we can get some people in. We do have a couple of people that are supposed to join us right now, being Shiny Darkrai. So far, Stormtrooper Blastoise has not entered yet, or Chaotic. So we're just waiting on them for the most part. But right now, there's nobody yet, per se. I do see Shiny Darkrai online, but I don't know if he's joining. Oh, never mind. He is joining. Okay. Let's just unmute. There we go. Alright. Hello. Okay, hold on. I don't think I can hear you. I don't think the chat can hear you. Let's see. Yep, everything is working fine. Just need to hear your voice. Or just and yeah, still waiting on two people. Yeah, Shiny Darkrai, can you hear me? He can hear me, but I can't hear him. That's interesting. That is interesting. I can hear him, but he can't hear me. I don't know if he has anything set on mute. I don't know if he was able to like right click his chat box. Right click his name and then unmute the server. That's probably one of the things you probably have to do to unmute yourself. Maybe you're muted or you don't have the mic in. Because I really can't hear anything coming out, so yeah, that's kind of weird. Let me check something else just in case. Let's do a little playback, black, playback, black. Okay, yeah, so I don't hear, I still don't hear. That's weird. I still don't hear your voice on here. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna fix it now once he joins back in. Okay, it puts it back in that muted area. Let me unmute the server. Hello. Let's see, does it work? Is he able to talk? Nope, still don't hear anything. Okay, that's weird. It makes no sense. He should be able to talk on here. What is it doing? He should be able to talk. That makes no sense. He should be able to talk. He should be able to literally yell out words and talk. Like, I don't have anything muted. I don't have anything lowered. So it's kind of weird that he's not able to talk. Ah, hello, hello.
Can you hear me?
Ah, okay. I did have something muted. I had the Discord muted, but you're still kind of low a little bit. Let me just still check the mic for a quick second just to see if it's all working here. Let me just check the um, volume on here. Volume on here. Volume on here. It sounds like it works, so I just gotta like, I guess, raise your volume on your mic, I guess. Or let me see, yeah, because my volume is all the way up. Just probably your volume needs to go a little bit further up. And we might have something here. But yeah, I did have like the volume muted off of Discord, and now I unmuted it. So that should work.
That's odd.
Yeah. Apparently, like when I was looking through my sounds, it was muted, and now I just unmuted it. So
That's wild.
yeah. So everything should be working fine at this moment in time. We still don't have Chaotic on here and Stormtrooper, but it is what it is. If they see it, they'll see it. If anything, I just want to go through the topics right now and get the topics out of the way, because or the main topic that I kind of want to get out of the way before we get into the other topics. What was it? The whole situation of my thoughts on what was it? My thoughts on, I just put it in the chat here. Double standards. So there was a situation with double standards. And this topic has to do with a lot of things from the last podcast that we were talking about the whole child predator, or in that state of common sense as well, because that's another topic as well, common sense, and the also parenting as well. There's that double standard that I kind of want to like literally touch upon, because again, it's 2019. We had like few years in the making of changing the way we think about certain things, and you still have that whole hypocrite type situation with people who sure enough can't fix that issue, where it's like, well, logically this and this, but it's like it like scans through, like it's like it doesn't come to their head when it's been put out on there, like thought wise, like they don't think about it until they have someone tell them, like, don't you not see this or thought about this beforehand. So there was a situation with a PokeTuber that, what was it, Jubilee? If you ever heard of Jubilee, she does like Pokemon content on her channel, and she made a rant video, explaining how her frustrations with her being a girl gamer in a gamer guy situation. It's like another sexist thing where it's like, well, not all guys feel like they're sexist to girls when it comes to video games, I mean, again, it's 2019, it's 2018 before then, and no one really had a problem with girl gamers. So the fact that it was brought up in her video kind of like, you know, it gets pissed me off, but it was like, well, one, it really shouldn't, because again, another YouTuber go by Proto Mario, who also touched up on the subject like a few years back, because he made a video on that. Um, but what generally pissed me off the most from out of Ghibli's video was she was complaining about the uh, the design of a character that was on was the Xenoblade Chronicles 2. There was a character that was a bunny rabbit, and this is a very thick girl-esque bunny rabbit character, and it's thick. This is a thick character, but then you also have like other designs of girls on the or women on that in that game that are not like that. But she pointed this one out the most because this was the one that mostly got flagged for it, where a lot of people were having problems with the character design, because it's like you're comparing the reality of a real person to a game character that's a fake character that has to do with a game that's basically built on fantasy, and you're, you know, literally critiquing the design of this character and comparing it to a real person. Now, one, yes, not all girls look like that, but that's why there was diversity in this game for girls in that game. But you're only just saying like, okay, not all girls look that in reality. Yes, not all girls look like that in reality, but there are some girls that look that thick in reality. So you have to point take of, okay, that is true, and not all guys will say, okay, chicks like that is the hottest thing there, but there are the hottest thing there. There are other girls with slimmer bodies, not too big, not too small, perfect sized bodies, that will consider them hot regardless. And again, sex does sell when it comes down to this type of content and reality. It's that's the whole point of our reality at this moment in time. Sex does sell when it comes to content like this. But what another thing that pissed me off when this game came out, this this character wasn't the didn't have like an ad to promote the game like that for that character. Eventually it did get a ad for the character, but it was promoting the fact that there was a new DLC for that character, and that's the characters that just now got added onto the game. Yeah, that was it. So it was showing off the character. But other than that, the character was made by a female character. I mean, a female person. And
Programmer.
it was a female. It was a female designer who created the character, and the problem was she was talking about how the Jubilee. She was talking about how this female character, or the person who created it, was either not female, and it was probably a male person who created this character, or, you know, and whatnot. But then I was like, well, no, I have proof that it was a woman character, because I commented in our video and I sent her a video of Proto Mario's video explaining that there was a woman who created this character and design wise. So are you gonna shit on this person's design because of that? Because it was a woman who did the design. But then she was like, well, even if it was the design that a woman has created, going over the final uh, confirms with certain people, maybe at the company of that character, getting the character proved, you know, in the state of having it there. Uh, it was just the fact that how, uh, hold on. So basically, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, well, my understanding is this character is or this person who created this character had to go through other people to getting the character approved. If there was changes to the character, there will be changes to the character. I get that from a a point of like a business thing where maybe there needed to be some changes to the character. But what if she actually made the character exactly how it was, and then she still got it approved to the company to put the character in the game? You know, what if they weren't no changes to the character? What if that was her character from the beginning? We don't know that. We have to ask the one who designed the character. But overall, it's like, are you gonna shit on other female artists who draw their characters like that? Are you gonna say no other female design drawer or artist would not draw characters like that? You know, like there's a lot of hentai there. You're telling me there's no female artists hentai creators who want to draw their characters like that? You know, it's like it sounds like you're being a little bit hateful for these type of characters or these type of people, whatever the reasons of being hateful for, and it makes no sense, and it generally pisses me off. And this is mostly why, because again, you're being, you know, uh, a hypocrite to this type of content and to other people who generally that's their mindset is, one, we have a designer who's making art. Yes, art has to get proven before anything, but you're still making art for this other person. And you can make art however you want to make art, but you're criticizing someone's art. No one criticized your art while you're criticizing their art of how they draw that character. Again, this is a game character, and this has to do with a lot of game characters that have been perceived as women in these games that are just like, why are you taking it so serious? It's just a video game character. Stop the bullshitting with these characters. They're just characters. Literally, nothing but characters, and then you're still complaining, you're still bitching about the character. The whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I was telling the similar chat that we were having the other day about voice acting here. How we have radiant the tools have big before, and I can kind of see where it is around the same way.
yeah. So I mean, again, I still feel like that's one of the things that needed to be said, and I needed to get that off my chest because again, people who are being hypocrites about it, or at least females that think like that shouldn't think like that. It is just a character, and you have to get over the fact that it is a character, because I'm pretty sure everybody knows that not all female people in reality are like this. They dress like this. There's people that cosplay, but again, you still went in and be like this and this and this and this. You know better. If you saying that people don't know better about a certain person and how they dress or how they look, that's bullshit. That's just straight up bullshit.
Yeah.
But getting off of that topic, there is the fact of another situation with that I also have a issue with, and it has to do with the whole creepy pasta. There was a situation on YouTube where Momo has been a very big topic on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I've seen that just about everywhere I go. Whether it's
Yeah,
Insta, Reddit, anywhere I go, it's
yeah.
about that.
I never saw the video, but I heard that two kids died, and it 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 was one of those things where I was like, okay, wait, you telling me a teenager and a child did suicide by after watching this video, and because they did what that you know person said on that video. Now you can't blame the. All you have to do is pretty much blame the person who made the video or whoever did the challenge and whatnot. That's what I'm going with. Oh my god, ice cream truck. Uh, but yeah, you look. The person that you really need to blame is the person who made the video, the not the character behind the video. I mean, not the character that's on the video, but the person who commentary behind the scenes. You need to be blaming the person who uploaded the video and commentary behind the scenes. But not only the fact that you need to blame that person, you shouldn't really blame that person because it wasn't really that person's fault in the sense of being, well, whose fault was it? It's more the fact that another situation where aren't you supposed to teach your kids common sense when to watching set videos or anything like that in that sense? Because if you're not being aware of what your kids are watching or giving them the sense of don't take everything literally, you're gonna have some issues. You're gonna have some really issues going your way because you're not teaching your kid common sense and making them understand when it's on a video, don't take everything so lightly in a video because it is a fucking video. Yeah, there's some things to take, but when it comes to like challenges and when it and another thing when I'm talking about like red flags, and that also brings back to uh people who are getting groomed and whatnot. It's a red flag. When you notice the red flag, you you leave. You just leave. When you notice a red flag, you leave. The case with Momo where if if you have kids who's watching this particular character on YouTube and they say, "Hey, go ahead and kill yourselves or do any little suicidal things to yourself in this challenge," that's a red flag. You don't you don't take that seriously. You don't need to be taking that seriously. You should just like, okay, I'm gonna exit from the video and watch something else. You know, it's just a video. You don't take that really seriously because if you notice a red flag, that's a red flag. I mean, that's again back to common sense. You should know better. If you're telling me your parents didn't teach you the what that you need to know better, that you know when something is off, don't look at it, watch something else, or if something off happens to you in general with some other person, maybe you should leave and never be in that situation ever again because you know it was wrong or weird and whatnot. It's a red flag. You should be aware of the red flags. That should be a parenting thing to do, to make sure your child is aware of red flags. Now, eventually I'm going to be a parent myself. Eventually, I don't know when, I don't know what time and age I'm going to be at to the point of actually having my own child, but I'm going to make sure my child is aware of red flags. When you get a red flag, that's when you need to be aware. I'm going to be that type of parent where I'm going to teach my own child to be aware of that shit. I mean, yes, to have fun, be with friends, But when you notice your friends is being weird, or anybody in general is being weird towards you, you need to cut them off and leave. Simple as that. Call your parent. Call your parent, tell them that you need to come home now. It's a red flag. You know,
Yeah.
or call the cops. It's still a red flag, regardless. Um, and another thing that's where it's also what was it about? It was another thing where I also said there was a double standard. There's also the whole situation with because I was also talking to a coworker at my job about this, a situation that also has to do with grooming and whatnot for kids and what underage type situation. I explained that even though grooming is wrong, and it's completely wrong, don't get me wrong, it's completely wrong, but
Oh yeah.
there's also the fact of the whole teacher situation, teacher and student situation, that also is considered a double standard for, like, if it's girls and guy teachers, that's a no. That's just no. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's just bad. That's just bad. Um, but when it comes to a female teacher and a male student, you kind of looked away from that, and that's where that whole double standard comes from. Is you kind of look away from that. Yes, you notice it, and yes, you're gonna say something about it, but you kind of look away on it. And yes, the teacher is gonna get in trouble for this, regardless. But you still have that double standard where it's like, okay, it was bad for the male teacher and female student did what they did, but when it comes to a male student and a female teacher, the problem is more weighed on the female teacher, not on the student. There's probably chances the student, wherever he has, will probably move to another school, or he's going to be homeschooled. Uh, so, and other than that, he might be considered a sexual predator when he grows up eventually. There's been times where I heard that there was a situation with another set of teacher and student type situation where they eventually got married once the kid was at age to be able to be with that person. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, at least they know that they're in love and this person wasn't fucking with his emotions. But
Yeah.
in my situation, I'm like, okay, if my child, being a boy male, gets in a situation with a female teacher, and he's not like in high school or being in college or whatever. If he's not in high school and he's getting this type of treatment with a female teacher, and he's in like middle school or kindergarten, I'm going to be like, that's a red flag. No, you shouldn't do that. If you're in high school, I'm kind of like a little bit leniency to it, because it's like, one, she's trying to teach you about the human body, and she's a teacher for that. And in a way, it's like I'm against it, but I'm not too against it, because I'm like, okay, you gotta give me the Carfax on this teacher. I have to meet this teacher and know what's going on with this teacher. Now,
Yeah.
people might hate on me for this, but again, it's like, I'm kind of proud of my son, but I don't want him bragging to it. I don't want him bragging to other people about what's happening with him and this female teacher. Because that was another situation with another female teacher and a male student, and the male student bragged about it. He didn't brag about it to his parent about it, to his father or mother about it. It just, he bragged around to his friends and whatever. And that's what I didn't like about that, because I was like, you could have had a good thing with this female teacher, but you fucked yourself over, and that's why you're not going to get into a scholarship or whatever, because you were in football, and you fucked that up for yourself, and then you fucked a thing that you were having with this female teacher because you bragged about it. Now,
Yeah.
again, like I said, if I'm in that situation with my son, I'm like, son, don't brag about this to other people because you're gonna ruin something that you did have with this teacher, and may never know in life you might be actually in a relationship with this teacher. You know, you might actually have fallen in love with this teacher. This teacher might have really fallen in love with you. But I still feel like protection is always needed for this situation. You always need to carry protection on you, because if you are doing what you're about to do with this teacher, have protection, because all I'm doing is treating this person as another female that you're into. Then fine, be into this female, but be safe. I don't want to have grandkids, you know. Be safe. I don't want to hit you in a situation, and I don't want you to have a situation that you know you're not going to be able to get yourself out of. So, if you're about to do what you're about to do, be safe. Again, give me the Carfax. I want to see that. I want to meet this teacher in person, because I want to know what is her intentions to want to put you in this situation that you're about to be in. So again, it's gonna be like, it's gonna make me biased, but then it's like I kind of am biased to it, but it's like I don't like the fact that people who are older than the age that they are trying to be child predators to kids. You know, I don't need that, and I don't need that in my life. I'm gonna be protective of my daughter, because I know for a fact my daughter means more to me than my boy child. It's like I'd rather have my daughter more protected than the boy. You know, it's it's again, it's that double standard, because we're more leaning to the male, because you know it's another thing that's been a way of life. When it comes down to it, it's been this way for centuries, where males are more leading into males when it's the opposite for females, and we gotta be more protective of our females. But yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing that I kind of like wanted to talk about and get out of the way, because it'll literally piss me off when hearing people talk about certain things like this, and say that you're not biased, but you're biased, and you want to not have your kids in that situation, but in a way you kind of do want your kids in that situation because you never had that happen to you as a child. That was another thing, because I never had that happen to me as a child, but I kind of feel like if my boy child had relationships with a female teacher, and it's like, I'm gonna be proud of myself because he's getting pussy. That's pretty much it. He's getting pussy. Even if it is from a, it's like, even if it is an older woman, he's getting pussy. He's getting pussy regardless. That's how you know he's getting pussy. And like I said, if the child's gonna brag about it, I feel like he should brag to the father. That's how I feel. He shouldn't tell his mother. He should tell his father. But if he's close to the mother, then fine, tell your mother. But again, it's, I need, as a father, I need to know the Carfax beforehand. Before anything happens, I need to know the Carfax. And again, yeah, it is biased, but it is how that double standard is, and I just want everybody to know that that's what it is. It's a double standard, but it is what it is. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way, I guess. I can understand where you're coming guess, yeah, because I've never been put in a situation like that, think like that, or anything like that, and I think I just kind of won't ever be like that. So I can't really say, at least, because it'll probably be a long time before I have children. So, very long, in fact, or at least try to. But yeah. So that's kind of just what I'm thinking is that it probably won't be at a point for where I have to worry about that for an extremely long time. But I do kind of see where you're coming from, and even way back at the moment, teaching your kids common sense. It is a necessity to do that, I feel, because without it, there's going to be a lot of things like that that's going to happen without throwing any red flags. Because a lot of people can and will do it, and they'll take it to the grave with them. So
Yeah, and you don't want to get taken advantage of at all.
yeah,
And that's what a lot of people do when they try to groom a child, is take advantage of. And that's what I kind of want to prepare my boy, my son or daughter for, that where there will be people trying to take advantage of you. They will try to groom you. So you need to be aware of those red flags. Again, even if I'm warning my son that, again, he feels like for him in that teacher or in that level of like where they're kind of close, and I just need to know beforehand if something does go down. Let me know so I could prepare for what's about to come later in life for him and that teacher.
yeah.
Um, so going off of that, we could go ahead and move to the next topic, and
Mhm.
I would say this topic will be a pretty short topic because we're already about like a couple of minutes in. We're almost like half an hour in.
Yeah.
Um, there's been some anime controversy that's been happening in anime, and dealing with the government, dealing with voice actors and whatnot. Um, I heard that anime will be semi-banned, or is trying to get banned in the U.S. There's also been concepts of memes that are not anime but still memes in general that was also trying to get banned from out of the government, out of the U.S. and whatnot. But anime is kind of up and down, where it's like it's still a cartoon. You still have to treat it as there is a rating for age of watching anime, and I feel like the government kind of does forget about that. There is a rating there specifically. If a child watches this, they shouldn't be watching this because of the rating. Um, and that's a problem also when it comes to parenting, where you need to be aware of what your child's watching, and you need to put them on the right path to watch a certain thing that's within their age to be watching. And that does consider towards anime, because there is a lot of ichi, a lot of hentai there that might get mixed in with a lot of regular anime that probably is for PG consumption or PG-13 consumption. Um, there's just a lot there going for it. Now, there's that. That's the whole issue with the anime, and why people in the government kind of wants to, yo, put that out there, like they want to ban it. There was another situation where one of the government members in the government had a picture of an anime character on their phone, and it was like a lolly. It wasn't a lolly character, but it was a kid character on the dude's phone. It was a wallpaper on his phone, and that's another reason why they were like, "Oh, that's just being a predator." I mean, this is a fictional character. Well, how does that consider him a predator at all? It's a fictional character. He likes the fictional character. That's his favorite fictional character. If he wants to have it as his wallpaper, he has it as his wallpaper. He should accept that and leave. But that was another main issue where a lot of people are getting the assumption that's why they were banning it. I think it was article there stating that that's the reason why they were trying to ban anime for that set reason, because it thinks it leads on to child predator type situations. But I don't think so. Unless this character was sexually, you know, put on his wallpaper and it was still a child, then I kind of would have concerns. But again, it's like it's a fictional character. Even then, it's a fictional character. That doesn't mean shit unless he had like a real child on his wallpaper. Then I kind of be worried. You know, that says a lot. From a fictional character to a real life character, a real life person. You know, fictional shouldn't be a problem, but a real life person is a problem. You know. Then we're gonna get on to some voice actors. Now, I don't know if you heard of Vic Mignogna.
Yeah, the guy that played the Dragon Ball Super Broly in the original Dragon Ball Super Broly, and he played some roles in Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes, he plays Edward, and he plays any other characters that you might know of. He's a very popular voice actor, and the situation with that is people at Funimation or voice actors that are also in Funimation all have an issue with him because he is popular. Everybody knows him for his voice and everything. He has a lot more jobs than everybody that has ever worked as voice acting. He's good at what he does. He's very good at what he does. There's claims of him being a sexual. He had like sexual attempts with certain people where were not true. He did go to court. We still don't know the final words on what's going on after that. But the man is proven innocent for all we know. He still had nothing against him. He's still innocent. But he did get fired from Funimation. That is proven fact that he did get fired from Funimation, and it was because over him eating jelly beans. That what's her name? The woman who plays Bulma in this Dragon Ball Super series. Apparently, she signed the jelly bean, and then there were pretty much he ate the jelly bean. So he was like saying that I eat you or whatever like that. But it's like, okay, one, they're joking around, and vice versa. It was like, okay, well, no, they're gonna turn that against you and whatnot. So that was another main issue there, was where he was getting blamed for something that was so innocent. It turned out to be a big bad, and he gets fired from it. That kind of sucks. And then there was also the fact that he was getting fired from all the other dub areas for anime, like other than Funimation being one of them. He was getting fired for any place that does dubs, and it's like that's kind of sucks because he's a very good actor, and he's getting blamed for unnecessary things that wasn't true. And not only the fact that she was also blaming him for certain things. Again, you also have the person who plays Vegeta also blaming him. You have the person who's playing Goku who was also blaming him. And it's like the whole I feel like it was the whole Dragon Ball Z cast was kind of blaming him for a lot of shit that happened. Uh, there's also the fact that a lot of certain supposedly certain community I guess girls were also complaining from the anime community was complaining about him when it was also not true. Uh, it was just a whole lot of things where it was like, oh, we have evidence, but there was not really evidence enough, compelling evidence to state the claim of him doing these things. And again, it was just like bullshit, 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 bullshit. That's how it went.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty much how it.
yeah, and then the fact that the Dragon Ball Z cast doesn't want to go to Comic Con, Kamehame Con, whatever you call it, because he's invited to go there, and he's also invited to going to another con that no other Dragon Ball Z cast will go to because he's gonna be there, and it sucks, but it's not gonna suck for Vic because Vic is gonna do good being there, and a lot of people want to see him there. That was another issue there where he was pretty much wasn't gonna be able to go. Then he was able to go. Then they're like, no, you can't go, but now you're able to go. So now he's going. Now he's going to another con as well because they invited him to go to the con. So that's again, fans are gonna be happy for him to be there. That's awesome. Vic, again, I feel like everybody should stand with Vic because again, we have no real evidence of him doing anything bad. It just it sucks for everybody to hear the fact that supposedly he did wrong and he didn't really do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So I again we hope he does get on his on that whole uh situation with getting everything resolved and he gets money from suing them for Funimation as well. Because I also heard that Funimation was doing poorly with actors there. So, again, we're just gonna have to go on that.
Yeah.
Uh,
My opinion on
mm-hmm.
that it's like you can't really assume that he has done these. Because remember, he's been working with Funimation for nearly 20 years plus.
Yeah, and a lot of people knew that Funimation was a shitty place to work at. It's like it looks cool, but then it looks shitty. The fact that it looked cool from the outside view, but once you enter the workplace, it's shitty as hell.
Yeah.
It's like high school all over again.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. I was watching a video back when the subject first started getting popular. Uh, Supposedly, a lot of why people thought that it's trying to do anything sexual was because back in the day when he used to go to con, a lot of people always wanted to hug or something like that, and he just figured that hey, everyone might want one, but he never knew that a whole lot of people don't want like, and which is fair enough to say,
Mm-hmm.
because it makes pass. And so I can see where a lot of people are saying that, but it's kind of an over exaggeration.
It really is.
He didn't know. He didn't know. He doesn't know about your story. He doesn't know about your past. So obviously, you could just say, "Hey, dude, I'm not really into hugs. I just feel like a handshake." That's all you have to say. But I guess some people are just kind of locked in the moment, which I understand.
Yeah, and then and again, it's like another thing about conventions as well, because a lot of people were being hypocrites about it. Whereas, like, voice actors were being hypocrite, because when it comes to fans, yes, you are friendly with your fans, and a lot of voice actors are friendly with their fans. They hug their fans. It's one of those things to do when you're either taking a picture or thanking them. And it's like you telling me as
You can go on,
a
yeah.
voice actor that you're getting mad at me, who's basically trying to like, be friendly with a fan of mine, but it's not bad when you do it. It's only bad when I do it. That's kind of fucked up,
Yeah.
and you're being a hypocrite for that.
Yeah. But that's just how I feel about it. Another thing that kind of bothered me about it was that if he was acting a creep this whole time, why would
Yeah, and he's been professional about the situation, and he's been like there's nothing wrong what I did or nothing wrong that I did or didn't do because technically I didn't do it, And there were like again the whole situation. The attorney has put out multiple things about the whole conversation that they had when they were doing the whole the whole I guess uh I can't what I can't why can't I say it like to deal with the whole situation in public. It literally was like he didn't do anything that prevented him to not be like I didn't do anything wrong. There's again there's this whole argument he didn't do anything wrong, and no one has confirmed proof of it. So it is what it is. Uh, but yeah. Um, well, getting off of Funimation or anime topics, uh, I kind of want to touch up on one anime topic, and that's Anime Expo. It's almost here. I'm gonna be going to Anime Expo this year. I am gonna be getting a lot of stuff from Anime Expo. Uh, there is that stuff where I'm still trying to get me a camera so I can do video vlogs and show everybody how Anime Expo is there. So again, that is another thing that I want to talk about and get that off the topic as well. Um, so since we're almost close to the ending, I'm gonna go ahead and probably send you a. Well, I'm gonna put a picture up here on the situation here. It's gonna be a picture that I'm gonna post right here on the what you got on the stream, and then I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send a picture right here on the chat. The whole point of this picture is um Epic Mickey versus. So we're back. So we're into the whole versus, the whole the what did I call it? The TSSC community versus. So we have Epic Mickey versus Oswald from Epic Mickey, Bendy and the Ink Machine, and versus what's his name? Why I forget his name? Boris from India, Bendy and the Ink Machine. Who do you think will win?
That's hard because I never really played vending. I can't really say. I'd have to do a little guide. Who in general would win? I haven't played that type of game. I really couldn't say. For the Epic Mickey games, I guess. Like I said, I haven't played those either because that was long time ago.
Yeah.
And from what I do remember at BlurbleX, I think it was like whatever Mickey painted, it came to life. If I remember.
Yeah. And the same thing with the whole Bendy and the Ink Machine. The ink does come to life, and they're kind of like based off of horror stuff. I mean, not horror. They're like ink monsters that are basically just people who are made out of ink, and they're hardly disfigured.
Yeah.
So,
Well, if I had to say, from what I can just see, I've watched a little bit of Bendy, not a
mhm,
whole lot. Same thing with Epic. But here's the thing. The thing about Epic Mickey, and I think the main reason he's going to win, is because he can pretty much draw just about anything. When with the ink machine, he can only draw monsters, or they're not.
mhm,
So, if anything, Mickey can just, you know, counter deflect everything and then just do his own thing. If he can draw anything that he pleases, then that's obviously plausible because obviously he can just make something a lot more bigger and a lot more effective and kind of settle things there because if you think about it, if it's only going to come out as monsters and nothing else, that means, for example, if monsters attempt to attack Mickey, maybe draw a shield and deflect their attacks. So it's plausible, or that's just what I think, that Epic Mickey would win.
mhm. I mean, the I played a little bit of Bendy in the Ink Machine, and you could stop ink monsters if you have like an I'll say like an axe. You could kill an ink monster, but again, there's that whole purpose of okay, well, so far, if Mickey doesn't have an axe, what can he really do? If Os
Yeah.
if Oswald had like a situation, because other than that, it's like it's a free for all. It's basically a free for all. So everybody's gonna against each other. But who would come out of this in that sense? Do you think Mickey would
Uh,
come out of this, or do you think his evil counterpart will come out of this, or someone from Bendy and the Ink Machine will come out of this fight?
I don't know. It's really hard to determine, but I think I'm just gonna go with Epic Mickey for now because like I said, I don't know a whole lot about these games.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just kind of my general opinion from what little play I saw. Obviously, if Mickey does have a dark counterpart, that means at some point throughout the game, it is plausible that he can
Well, it's Oswald. Oswald is like his. It's not his evil counterpart, but it's one of his people that he rivals against. That's the same thing with Bandy and Boris. It's they're basically rivals against each other when it comes down to certain things, and you think like one's more evil than the other. Blah 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 blah. It's they're just rivals. So, in that face off, who really do you think is gonna win out of that?
yeah.
But you
Well,
saying Epic Mickey will pretty much take the place as winner.
that, that's what I'm thinking. What about you?
Uh, I haven't played Epic Mickey, so I wouldn't know. But again, based off the combatants, I kind of say Bendy. And the reason why I will say Bendy is because he is sneaky. He does hide in the shadows for the majority of the time. He does pop out at random times. He is crafty, so and for the fact that I only played it up to the third chapter and Bendy and the Ink Machine, that's what I'm gonna go with. Is the fact that Bendy could win this,
Mm-hmm.
as since again Bendy is the one who kind of creates monsters on a whim with the ink because he is ink itself. I think he has a better chance of winning.
I mean, it's plausible, but remember now, with Mickey's ability, true, he does, Bendy does have creativity and stealth part, but I was thinking, if it came down to a force battle, I think by a landslide. But stealth battle, I think definitely Bendy would be able to kill. But it's it's hard to say really
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, I don't really know so much about the but if it came
Yeah.
to a brute force battle, I think Epic Mickey would win, and if it came down to Bendy, it would come down to the stealth aspect.
Okay. Well, we'll just let everybody else decide on the poll once I put the poll up. But again, I still would go with the fact of Bendy because again, it is Bendy, and he kind of and since Bendy is also a cartoon character and he's in that same in a kind of like in the same timeline as Mickey itself as an old-fashioned cartoon character, I would say the creativity between the two characters do kind of give them the boost to overcome the other two characters. Uh, and if it was a one-on-one situation, I still feel like Bendy might have overcome this situation, but then I'll be like Mickey might win regardless.
I mean, it's plausible. So
But then there's also the new game that's also coming out, Bendy's Revival. Uh, so I mean, we'll see. But there's a poll gonna be up on I would say on the certain apps and whatnot that I know that will allow me to post those type of polls. I'll also share it on Twitter if you want to like vote on Twitter. I do have a Twitter. You just go into my YouTube description and click on the Twitter, and it will link you to my Twitter and whatnot, and it will have the poll up there. Uh, I'm trying to figure out where I could post the actual poll at. I'm pretty sure I could post it in the anime amino, most likely, or the video game. You know what? I'm pretty sure in the video game because it is like a video game situation with that. I could pretty much put it there. Um, but yeah, there's another topic before we do go ahead and leave. There is another topic here. Hold on, let me see.
mm,
It's Pokemon Go and the whole situation with Pokemon Go. Um, and my situation with Pokemon Go, it has to do with the because I want to end this topic right now with the whole Pokemon Go. How do you feel about shiny hunting and Pokemon Go?
well, like I said though, at one point the other day when we were talking, I was never really truly interested in Pokemon Go. The design of it was good, but the area that I always lived in never was very popular with Pokemon. So it was very hard to find gyms or anything like that. And
Uh-huh.
uh, shiny aspect sure is probably a lot more easier than other like console games.
See, here's the
But
thing,
yeah,
and I want to like explain how shinies and Pokemon Go. It's orangey. It's not chain related. It's just orangey. It's a random chance of you encountering the Pokemon. So you could collect like at least three to like 300 to maybe 4,000 Pokemon of that same typing, but you will never in your life will encounter a shiny Pokemon. And
yeah,
that is the whole problem with the whole RNG system in Pokemon Go. And that I would say a lot of fans don't like that concept because again with Pokemon in general, even though this is a separate game from the actual main series game, it's it's just the fact that the reason why people like Pokemon shiny hunting for Pokemon is because you get the chain of Pokemon of the same typing, the same Pokemon that you're chaining for to getting the Pokemon in that different color. Same thing with breeding. It's always been that concept, has always been that way. But when Pokemon Go came out and the first introduce of their doing shiny Pokemon in Pokemon Go, the point is to be RNG. It's random encounter. You just encounter it randomly. And from the counter, you don't really have like a set like actual or how random the counter is, because it's saying like, oh, there's a 50-50 chance of you encountering it, but it seems lower than that. It seems like there's a one percentage of you countering it out of 100, and the only time it's gonna be like up to a 50-50 chance of encountering the Pokemon is during a community day event. The only way you can encounter this is during a community day event. That's where a lot of people have an issue with. It's like, if there's a 50-50 chance of encountering this Pokemon shiny in a community day sense, then you might as well make every day a community day. But then it won't make the day special, but at least it would have been still worth the point of doing it, because now everybody can get a shiny. Or at least fix the issue and allow the point of having shiny Pokemon a counter chain setup. Fix that. Just make it a shiny counter type thing where you just chain the counters so you can get a shiny.
Yeah.
Instead of having it ONG, just random encounters. Because again, like big popular Poke Go YouTubers like Trainer Tips, Reversal, anybody who's in that Pokemon Go YouTube area are kind of complaining about the fact that it's such a boring game to randomly get an encounter of a shiny Pokemon when you encounter this Pokemon way too fucking many times to get this stupid random ass encounter, where you could have changed this Pokemon so many times and gotten an encounter. After so many encounters, this should have been the encounter, a shiny Pokemon. But they didn't do it like that, because again, it's a random encounter, and the fact that it's not part of the Pokemon Company's game. It is a Pokemon Company's game, but it's not generically their game. It is Niantic's game, and Niantic is the one who made the game. So if Niantic is the one who made the game, don't they think they should learn from Pokemon Game Freak that maybe you should make the Pokemon chain related instead of RNG related to the system? Pitting an update that's what's gonna go down, where we change the way of getting shiny Pokemon. We're gonna make them chain encounters where we could just chain the Pokemon and then you get a shiny. Because I think a lot of people like that way of doing things. They don't like the way that it's a random setup for it. And that's another thing why I didn't like Pokemon Let's Go for it. Because you could just stand there without countering any Pokemon and a random shiny pops up. Or you could chain and then you could get an encounter like that. I mean, yes, they have both setups, but I prefer the chaining over a random pop-up.
Yeah.
So that's my situation with Pokemon Go and the way their shiny hunting works. I think they need to fix it and update that situation instead of making it random.
Yeah.
Because then it'll make more people want to play the game more if it's changed.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I kind of like set my piece on it. I think you set your piece on it. But yeah, If you guys enjoyed this podcast, I know a couple of people weren't here to do the podcast with us. Uh, I know they're sorry for it. It's probably the timing. Um, I kind of want to fix the timing, but I kind of have the set schedule set to 4 o'clock, and it is PST 4 o'clock, and then um, it's it's different time zones for the other two, or it just they can make it on time to do the podcast. They won't be able to make it in the middle of the podcast. They probably watch the podcast, and you know they probably either said something or didn't say anything in the podcast. Um, but again, like I said, it is what it is. Again, next week, again, we're gonna be doing another podcast. Again, like I said, the podcast will start at 4 o'clock. Um, hopefully, this time everybody knows this. Everybody could be setting their time, their schedule for that time, so they could keep getting these podcasts, getting these conversations, these talks out, and knowing what's up. Because again, I kind of want to cover this last thing here before we do leave. Has to do with YouTube, and how you do you think YouTube has gotten better or worse?
I don't know, to be honest. Like, the copyright issues have become a major thing. They used to not be that big of a problem, but now it's all of a sudden a major issue, which I get, but YouTube didn't really care back in the day. They started getting profit, uh, and then they just were like, no, we're gonna get copyright strikes, everything. So it kind of made a lot of people, when it came to streaming, turn to Twitch, so they could play music there. Because there's a lot of people like me, when they play games, they like to play music and focus. So
Yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing the most that I didn't like about the fact that that's what's happening now. The reason why people are now kind of also converting over to Twitch is because of the fact that copyrights for music is a thing, and it's also for like companies for doing like video game content as well. It is a copyright for them to like just be like, oh, you can't use that music, you don't have the rights to that. Even though you bought the game, it still states the fact that you're playing their game, and we're gonna go ahead and they don't copyright you for the game. They copyright you for the music from the game, even though you bought the game and it's from your gameplay of the game. You know, and it's like it's kind of absurd when you know, like, okay, I bought the game and you telling me I don't have the rights for it. It makes no sense. It
yeah,
literally makes no sense. Um, and that's why Twitch is so lenient to it, because it's like, okay, you could go to Twitch, you could stream on Twitch, you could play whatever kind of music you want from Twitch. You could even play the game's music from Twitch and don't have to worry about the copyright claims on there. And again, it's like also trying to get people who are on your fan base on YouTube to move over to Twitch, you know. And
yeah,
even though I have, like, for me, even though if I have like a majority of a good amount of fan base, I don't think that I'm gonna see them moving over Twitch for me to be
yeah,
having Twitch streams there. I mean, I could, because there's already like a few people there, but I don't know yet. You know, I still kind of trying to figure out my standing where I'm at on YouTube, and I still want to make more content on YouTube. I don't want to become a Twitch streamer, but if it goes that route, I'm gonna go that route, and you might see like Call of Duty being a thing up on there, and it seems like I'll just be a Call of Duty streamer on there for Twitch. And then if I bring the podcast there, that's another thing as well. Me bringing the podcast there.
Yeah.
Even though it's a new thing and it's a new concept on my channel, that's probably where it's gonna go. 'Cause at least I'll be able to play the music that I want there.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's really my only issue with YouTube was it's copyright.
mhm.
Everything else I don't really care for. Like,
Yeah,
everything book,
but you just feel like it's kind of like, again, it's kind of getting worse. I mean, there was the fact that they did roll out the whole new updating about how they were getting rid of people who are being a little bit over exaggerating with their kid stuff, being perverted and whatnot. And I'll give them get clap of hands on that. Make sure that there is no child pornography in the uh, channels or YouTube channels and stuff like that. I get that, but it's still it is a it's YouTube, and it's like the fact that they want to put this out there for channels, or put that out there for YouTube in general, to make it more kid friendly. It's I think that's what a lot of people don't like, because it was never kid friendly, and the fact that you want to push it on people, that you want to make the channel kid friendly for other YouTubers, and YouTubers have to obey by that rule so they can get paid making content. This is why Filthy Frank is no longer on YouTube as Filthy Frank. And even then, it's like Filthy Frank should be having like a lot more subscribers, and
yeah.
at least more than 6 million subscribers. He should have a lot more. He should be up there with PewDiePie, as he is.
Yeah.
As good as he is, he should have been there with PewDiePie. Now,
Yeah.
it's again where it's like, it's all because of the fact that they've been monetizing his videos. They didn't push his videos out there so they could get watched. It's all that other nonsense with YouTube. That's what made YouTube such a bad thing to be a part of. And I get that.
Yeah.
And I get that for reasons.
Yeah.
So, again, that's another thing where the reason why Filthy Frank is not doing videos on there. That's why a lot of people who are trying to copy his edgy style is getting like shamed for it, because it's like there's only one Filthy Frank. Leave it as that. Eventually he might come back to it being Filthy Frank, but no one sees that happening, because what his main goal is to be a music artist, and that's where he's gonna stay as. And if he does come back to the YouTube scene, one is either they finally change the policy of being edgy. Other than that, probably tell parents themselves. YouTube needs to tell parents, maybe you should put on a Barney video from a videotape or something. Put it on TV. Maybe let them watch Barney. Make them watch some kid baby shows or something, so they don't be in this situation where you're gonna complain or moan about it. Maybe you should look at the ratings, because that's another parenting situation that needs to be fixed. Again, that's pretty much all I have to say about YouTube. Again, it's bad, but it's not too bad. It needs to be a little bit better. They need to literally fix some issues there, especially when it comes to the whole YouTube streaming from your phone. You have to be 1,000 subscribers. That was dumb. That didn't need to be there. I mean, we stream all the time, and we're not at 1,000 subscribers, but you want us to be able to be at 1,000 subscribers to stream. So it's like, pisses a lot of people off, but again, most people don't stream from their phones. Um, yeah, I think we got, I think we got everything pretty much titled on here. Wait to another, I guess, once I get more topics on certain subjects, we'll do on another stream, another podcast. Again, it will be next Thursday, but I feel like I might wait to another Thursday after the coming up Thursday, and once I know I have the topics that I want to talk about, or if you guys also have topics that you want to talk about in the next podcast, definitely let me know so I can really know what to do for that podcast. Again, see you guys, and thanks for Shiny Dark Ray for coming out. Again, like I said, we did have Chaotic, we did have Lex Ray Master who were supposed to come out. We did get Stormtrooper for a while, but I didn't get to mute him as quickly as I was trying to do. But he did try to come out. He tried to get into the podcast stream. So, again, sorry about that. Didn't get to getting to you, to unmuting your mic or something like that. But I'm glad that you're able to try to come out to getting to the doing the topic with us. Yeah. Got anything else to say before I end the stream?
No, I think that about covers it.
All right. Well, again, guys, see you in the next podcast. Bye.